The drama kicks off with two cab trainees enthusiastically practicing a dance routine. One of them is Saga, the main character of the show. Things are going well, until they aren't. While rehearsing, Saga's friend somehow manages to smack him in the eye with a metal rod. Yep, a rod, because apparently choreography now includes self-defense training. Saga's eye gets seriously injured, and what follows is pretty obvious. He's rushed to the hospital while screaming in agony like a kid who just got their gaming console taken away. After his surgery, the doctors deliver the worst news. Saga has gone completely blind. Lying in bed, he turns to his mom and asks, "Mom, why is everything so dark?" His mom breaks down in tears, sobbing uncontrollably. The doctor explains that he'll need an eye transplant as soon as possible, but Saga, being a full-time drama king, immediately refuses. "No, Mom, I don't want to go through with anything. You know my dream is to become a famous K-pop idol." Ah yes, because nothing says star quality like giving up your vision to keep the suspense alive. His mom gently calms him down, and eventually the transplant goes forward. That's where the scene ends. Fast forward several years, and boom, Saga is now a full-blown K-pop superstar, leading a group called The Crown. He's got fans screaming his name and singing along to his songs like it's the second coming of BTS. Saga steps onto the stage, confidence radiating from every move, and performs a flawless set. His fangirls are losing their minds. Some probably cried, passed out, and revived just to scream all over again. It's chaos in the best way. Speaking of which, are you team BTS or Blackpink? Drop it in the comments. Also, tell us who your favorite member is. We're totally judging, but with love. After the concert, Saga grabs the mic and shares the big news. His song has reached #1 on the music charts. The whole crew is ecstatic. The scene fades into a wild celebration. Everyone's smiling, dancing, and, let's be real, drinking like they're getting paid per shot. Now we meet Mr. Cho, the CEO of Saga's entertainment company, and someone Saga sees as a father figure. Saga casually asks him about his daughter Gina, saying, "Where's Nona?" Nona being a respectful way to say, "Older sister." Mr. Cho replies that she's busy working at her office. We're then introduced to Gina herself, who's totally in love with the lyrics written by an up-and-coming songwriter named Kim Bum. Gina's impressed enough to invite Kim to the company the next day to discuss buying the song. Meanwhile, we shift back to the celebration, where a guy named Sia is locked in an intense drinking competition. Spoiler alert, he wins, but at what cost? The man's liver probably waved a white flag halfway through. Hammered out of his mind, Sia begins to remember something from the past. Heavy rain, a car on the road, and someone, possibly lifeless, lying on the ground. Then, like every good mystery drama, the scene abruptly cuts off. Later that night, we find Saga back in his room, sound asleep. He's having a recurring dream and narrates to us that he keeps seeing the same little girl, except her face is always hidden. He doesn't know who she is, but there's always a melody playing in the background. That tune brings him peace, helping him drift into a deep, relaxed sleep. Morning arrives. The camera pans over Saga's room, showing a shelf overflowing with trophies and awards. The guy is clearly crushing it. He gets up, looking energetic and fresh. Saga is known for being positive and upbeat, but when he realized he'd gained a bit of weight, he hit the gym like it owed him money. He worked out non-stop until he finally felt better. Meanwhile, we're introduced to the female lead of this drama, Kim Bum. She's getting all dolled up to visit Saga's company. Turns out she's the same girl Gina had spoken to on the phone last night about purchasing some songs. Before heading out, Bum lovingly shows off her favorite locket, her little treasure that she wears everywhere. Now we jump back to Saga, who's suddenly being rushed by his assistants like there's a fire drill. They barge into his room without knocking, and Saga freaks out like, "Why would you storm into a young guy's room like that without warning?" Then his manager, looking like he's aged 10 years overnight, snaps, "Are you actually dumb? Why weren't you answering your phone? Do you even know the chaos you've caused?" Honestly, Saga's memory is so bad he might as well set calendar reminders for his own identity. Someone get this man a diary. The manager pulls out his phone and shows Saga a video from last night, and it's wild. Drunk Saga punched Mr. Cho and sent him flying down the stairs like he was in a WWE match. Saga's jaw drops. What? When did I do that? How could I hit such a good man? The assistant, raising an eyebrow, asks, You really don't remember anything? Saga, looking like a kid caught stealing cookies, mutters, Not at all. The assistant breaks the bad news. The video has gone viral all over social media, and now things are blowing up in the worst way. Saga does what any responsible adult would do. He starts screaming at the top of his lungs. Meanwhile, Kim Bomb arrives at the company, completely unaware of the chaos unfolding, but just as she walks in, so does Saga, causing a huge commotion. In the frenzy, Bomb falls over and her precious locket drops to the floor. As it hits, the familiar melody starts playing, the same melody Saga always hears in his dreams. Saga freezes like he just saw a ghost. Where's that music coming from? He keeps glancing around, confused and shaken. But with the crowd pushing him forward, he has no choice but to move on. Behind him, Bomb picks up the locket and quietly switches it off. In the next scene, Bomb meets Gina. Gina hands her a contract and says, Once you sign this, the songs are ours permanently. You won't be able to claim them again. Bomb's eyes widen. Wait, what do you mean I can't call them mine? She had assumed she'd at least be credited when her songs got released. But nope, they're buying her songs like they're grabbing clearance items at a store. Gina suddenly gets called away, and Bomb, now completely disillusioned, mutters, now I understand how these K-pop agencies get so rich. Meanwhile, chaos continues at the company headquarters. There's a crisis meeting over Saga's stairs incident. Saga's sitting there, feeling like absolute trash, regretting every second. After all, Mr. Cho is the only person he respects after his mom, and he straight up yeeted him down a flight of stairs. The manager informs him grimly, Because of your viral video, the company's shares have tanked in just a few hours. We've lost billions. Congrats, Saga. You just body slammed your company's market value harder than you hit Mr. Cho. At the same time, Bomb is walking out behind Saga, but neither of them notices the other. Then Gina comes out and tells Saga they need to talk privately. She sits him down and gently breaks the news. This is a sensitive time. You've been suspended for a while. Saga's heart drops. But I didn't mean to do it. Gina reassures him. I understand. Just go back to university for now and focus on your studies. I'll try to manage things here. Saga, defeated, agrees and walks off. After he leaves, Gina looks at the contract and notices that Bomb has already signed it. She also left a note saying, Please use my songs properly. Now we switch to Bomb's house where she lives with her aunt Miss Kim and Miss Kim's daughter, Gary. It's technically Bomb's house, but these two have practically claimed squatter rights. Miss Kim, clearly obsessed with money, nags Bomb, You better write more hit songs and sell them for a good price. We need that money to pay off our loans. Bomb, fed up, finally snaps and gives her aunt a piece of her mind. Honestly, Miss Kim is the type of person who'd sell her niece's diary if it had lyrics in it. And Gary, she's just vibing, trying to figure out if she's in a K-drama or a cooking show. Turns out Miss Kim had secretly taken a loan by mortgaging Bomb's house. Without even telling him, now that she can't repay it, the burden's landed squarely on Bomb's shoulders. If he doesn't cough up the money soon, the bank will repossess the house? Yep, Aunt Kim fumbled the financial bag so hard, even Monopoly would kick her off the board. Just then, Gary, Miss Kim's daughter, chimes in, excitedly sharing that Saga had publicly apologized to Mr. Cho. Gary's basically Saga's #1 fan, probably has his face as her phone wallpaper. So she keeps up with all his drama like it's her job. Then we cut to Saga, who's seen sincerely apologizing to Mr. Cho, admitting he had no idea what he was doing that night. Mr. Cho reads Saga's heartfelt apology, where Saga promises to wait until he's forgiven. A flashback hits. Saga remembers how Mr. Cho used to visit him when he was just a trainee. Mr. Cho had patiently taught him how to play the guitar and always treated him kindly. Meanwhile, Mr. Cho is also having flashbacks to the night he got punched by a drunk Segi. I remember everything, he mutters. Apparently something serious happened to Saga in the past, something he's blocked out. And Mr. Cho is somehow tied to it. Next day, Saga is getting ready to go to the university. Manager Min warns him it might rain and tells him to take an umbrella. Sage, in all his overconfidence, shrugs it off, because obviously Sage thinks he's immune to both criticism and bad weather. Of course, when he gets to the university, it's pouring, and not just rain, but a full-on storm, soaking wet and miserable. He mutters to himself, I should have listened to Manager Min. Then he starts looking around like, where are all my fans? Newsflash, Sage, they're not weatherproof and you're not Beyonce. A group of girls walk by and he assumes they're headed to see him. Plot twist, they're just rushing indoors, soaked and annoyed. One bumps into him without even noticing, knocking his phone out of his hand. Meanwhile, Bomb had run for shelter and stood near a small covered area, until she realized two people were very much making out there. Grossed out, she dashes off and ends up standing under a tree. Her locket falls once again, and the same mysterious melody starts playing. Sage, who finally finds his phone, hears the melody again and freezes. It's the same tune from his dreams. Following the sound, he stumbles across Bomb standing by the tree. He stares at her, trying to figure out if this is real life or another weird dream. Bomb, catching him staring, quickly shuts off the music just as the rain stops. Sage whispers to himself, why do I feel like crying when I hear that music? When Bomb starts walking away, he stops her and asks, what kind of music was that? Before she can answer, her old friend Taeyang shows up. He's the classic one-sided lover, hopelessly crushing on Bomb. You know the type, always around, never in the game. Basically the Wi-Fi of her love life. Available but ignored, Taeyang starts calling out to Bomb, and as she walks away, Sage begins softly humming the same melody. Bomb freezes in shock. How could this random stranger know her music? She turns back. Wait, how do you know that? It's her music, a piece she's never shared with anyone before. Sage also looks stunned. That's your music? Before she can answer, Taeyang interrupts again, the human version of a pop-up ad, dragging her away. As they leave, he turns back to glare at Sagai and asks Bomb if that guy was bothering her. She says no, but Taeyang keeps staring down Sagai like he's auditioning for a soap opera villain role. Meanwhile, Sagai looks down at his soaked clothes and realizes he's a complete mess. He heads home, lost in thought, obsessing over the melody and trying to recall the girl's name. He remembers Taeyang called her Bomb. That's it, Bomb. But how is her music the same one that haunts his dreams? The next morning, as Bomb stepped out to head to the university, guess who was already there waiting? Yep, Taeyang, posted up like a loyal puppy. Bomb looked at him and asked, Appa, what are you doing here? Before he could even answer, Yuri came strutting out and said, he's just using you as an excuse to come stare at me. He probably has a crush on me. Then she added, let me be clear though. Don't get any ideas. I'm not interested. The only man I'll ever love is superstar Sagai. I'll keep him in my heart till I die. Someone get this girl a fan club membership and a reality check. With that dramatic declaration, Yuri stormed off. Taeyang blinked and muttered, is this girl completely nuts? Bomb laughed and said, no, I think it's kind of cute. And when she laughed, Taeyang lit up like a Christmas tree. He was just happy to see her smile. He's genuinely head over heels for Bomb. Poor Taeyang's so deep in the friend zone, he might need a passport to get out. Then the two of them headed off to campus. Meanwhile, Sage was also on his way to the university, but this time he'd posted about it on social media. So naturally, a crowd of fangirls was already camped out, buzzing with excitement. When Saga rolled up in his car like a K-drama hero, the crowd went wild. Screams echoed across campus. Some girls basically lost their minds the second they saw him. Honestly, if confidence were water, Sage would be drowning in it. Bomb and Taeyang, however, walked right past all the chaos like it didn't even exist. The fangirls wasted no time, snapping selfies with Sagai and begging him to sing. And of course he did. While singing, Sage was secretly thinking, I have to find that girl, the one whose melody I heard. But just as he was mid-song, a random guy in the crowd suddenly shouted, stop singing! Clearly, jealousy issues were flaring. Sagai looked at him and asked, what, the guys here don't like me? The rest of the crowd quickly jumped in. Please ignore that loser. We love you, look at us instead. Honestly, that guy was the human version of a YouTube ad. No one asked, and everyone wanted him to skip. Then Gary appeared out of nowhere and squealed, "I'll take you to the film department." She started yelling like a banshee. "Do you remember me? I screamed your name louder than anyone at your last concert." Saga leaned in and said, "Wait, there's something on your face." Gary immediately panicked. "What? Where?" He smirked and said, "It's cuteness, prettiness, and loveliness, you silly." Classic Segi, flirting like it's his part-time job. Gary was so overwhelmed by his words, she almost passed out from happiness. And with her literally swooning in a fangirl coma, episode 1 came to an end.